Hey, Dave, I have
What?
something to say.
Let's hear it.
I don't want to work. All I want to do is almost daily show all day.
Let's hear it.
I. You almost heard it twice. It was so nice.
Almost.
Almost. So it's good to be back here. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been almost a day now.
Yeah. Geez, like 18 hours or something.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting emails. People were wondering if we were going to come on almost daily again. And then when we tell people about our show, they're like, how often is your show? And I'm like, well, it's almost every day. Well, what's it called? Well, the Almost Daily Show.
That's all we had.
It's like literally,
She was pretty amused by that. She thought that was pretty funny.
everybody we talk to absolutely loves that name.
Oh,
How
yeah.
often do you go on? Well, pretty close to every day. What do you call it? Well, Almost Daily Show. I like to keep it simple.
I think it's pretty
And
clever.
follow. Yeah, it's highly clever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because we are the ultimate masterminds and we came up with it.
Yeah, what were we calling it originally? Then we were like, if this thing's the Almost Daily Show. I think we figured it out in the first episode.
We were calling it the relationship marketing experience. We were
That's
like,
right.
this doesn't work. This doesn't
You know
work.
what? Even though that's what we do, and it's really cool. So if you're a business out there, you want to go through the relationship marketing experience. But we didn't want it for the podcast. It's not fun.
That's true. It doesn't make sense on the podcast because it's a show.
That's right.
And it's just super fun. It's exciting. It's slightly out of control sometimes, but always on point.
I believe it is always on point. And today, we had a couple fantastic calls today, but one of them got us talking about collaborating with higher level peers. I think it's an important concept that business owners really need to grasp.
It's huge when you think about people in the game of entrepreneurship and small business ownership, and even when you're collaborating with other people, if you don't have someone to talk to in your work and your daily duties and your interactions and how you're making things process and flow, you're not going to have anyone to give you feedback. You're not going to have anyone to talk to about new ideas who can ask you questions about those ideas. And then they can do the same. And you guys can grow and learn and adapt and respond based off what each other says. And one of the biggest things that I think for me, especially when I start talking with people who are other high level people who are similar to what I'm doing or in maybe other industries but have good things to say, I start thinking about it and I listen to them and I listen to what they're saying and I start thinking about what I'm doing. And then it gives me new ideas on how to move forward and new strategies and tactics and things that maybe I wouldn't have necessarily thought about if I was just stuck in my own head.
I could.
Don't be stuck in your own head.
You just gave me a unbelievable image. Could you imagine if you were stuck in your own head, how out of control that would turn into?
Oh my God. So you're in your own head, but what if you were
Total chaos? Total chaos if Chandler Walker was stuck in his own head.
Yeah. It would just be like this chaos mode of things going on everywhere, but no way to get out. And it would just explode after a while because of so much stuff.
It'd be crazy. So let's get back on point here. So I think another really big thing is, business is business. And, the higher up the food chain you go with businesses, with larger corporations and I guess the ins and outs of how to run it and how to deal with people and all those things, it all relates. It all crosses over. So it's not like, well, they don't understand my industry or my business. So you want to talk to people from other industries, other business, people that are a lot more successful than you are, because they're going to give you some really good insight. And, we get so caught up when we're in certain industries with what happens in the industry and how we do things, and it's how it's always been done. You really need to get those, someone that will listen to you, hear what you have to say, maybe your ideas, and give you a nice fresh look from the outside in, but from an educated position, right? So you want to listen to those people.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I find too that really helps, especially someone who's not in your industry, is when they hear what you're saying, you're so stuck in your industry that sometimes it's hard to see from the outside in, and it's hard to see what someone new would experience. And it's hard to understand what someone who's never done it before, doesn't understand anything, would say. And if they're outside your industry and they're high level in their industry, but they ask you questions from the outside in, it starts opening your eyes up. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is what someone who's coming in who doesn't understand what I'm doing would ask. This is what the buyer's journey would look like for a new client. These are really good questions. And you can take that stuff and use it as feedback to fix what you're doing. And you can do the same with them. And so it's really neat to have someone come in who's not in your industry, but who's really good in theirs, to ask you questions and talk about what you're doing, and allows you to talk through what you're doing. And when people start asking me questions, it makes me think out loud and start analyzing the steps and trying to understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, what the next step is and how I get there, and what could go wrong along the way. They could give me potential pitfalls or problems, and then it really allows you to be really tight-knit in what you're going to do.
Yeah. And so there's I guess, a lot of different ways to do this. If you have a really good community and a really good business where there's a lot of professionals interacting with you, you build relationships with them, and identify people that are really successful with what they do, and get them together. Like you could even do host some stuff at your business. Like maybe it's like a coffee hour or a wine night or, whatever it is, and get everybody talking together. And, it's really hard if you don't know who to talk to try to manufacture that. So be the catalyst in your community and reach out to people and ask. Successful people, most of the time, all you have to do is ask. And I know I always am. I'm happy to get on the phone or go meet someone in person and spend as much time with them as they need, because it's kind of like a pay it forward thing. I know for me in business, I just want to help people. And whatever, if they ask or they want to get together or talk or anything, and I'm always reaching out to people. I'm always picking their brain and asking for their advice and what would you do and all those things. I think it's an important thing. So take the initiative, be the first person to step up and ask.
I think one of the biggest things that we fear is asking someone, like, what if they say no? And like you're saying, one of the things that differentiates people who are at the higher level is they will listen to you and they will respond to you, especially if you're in an industry and not on the same page as them. They're going to want to collaborate and go back and forth. They're going to want to get that interaction, that feedback. And if it's someone who you're watching and you're like, man, they seem to be crushing it, I wonder what their secret is. All you have to do is reach out and ask them if they're local. If they're not, and you know them on Instagram or Facebook, it's a quick message or a DM right away. And the worst case scenario is they don't respond or they say no. Best case scenario, now you have someone to talk to, someone who will jump on a phone call with you, and someone who will give you feedback and ideas and strategy. And eventually it could be you being someone's mentor if it's someone new because they reached out to you, or you finding a mentor to help you, to help you basically grow and build up what you need as you get into new problems and new issues and new pathways in your business. Because the entrepreneurship pathway and the small business ownership thing it's a roller coaster, and it's all over the place. You're doing really well, and then your hopes and dreams are crushed, and then you're doing really well and your hopes and dreams are crushed.
No.
Oh God, the cycle. And then Stop. If you want to get out of that cycle, you got to find someone who you can collaborate with and be like, hey, so we do really well, and then we just seem to crash all of a sudden.
Why? Right.
Yeah. What do you think? And they can, well, what's going on and why and this and that and this. And they'll keep asking you why and really analyze and identify what's going on. And then it's going to get you thinking like, oh man, this is the problem. This is what I need to fix. This is the process that's not right. This is the employee people that aren't working or whatever's going wrong. This is the way. That's one of the easy ways you can identify it.
Right. And I think something else is, and it's in the title of this, collaborating with high-level peers, plural. So don't get caught up listening to one person and thinking that that's it. Like this person said, do this, so I'm going to do this. Yeah, you want to make sure that you surround yourself with many people that are at a little bit higher level than you are. Ask questions, collaborate, but try not to isolate yourself. I think that's an important piece when you're collaborating is collaborations with as many people. Never stop learning. Always be charging ahead, meeting new people, and picking their brain and sharing the information you've learned along the way with the people that you run into. Down the road, you'll always learn something. You'll always pick up new things. There's hundreds of people out there that would love to talk to you and share their information with you and need your help when collaborating. You need your information.
Yeah, one of the biggest things is you always need to be in the learning and the teachable mindset. So no matter what anybody says, if they're brand new or if they've been doing this for 100 years, no matter what they're saying or doing, you need to listen to them and pay attention to it. And that's how you learn and grow. And the second you feel like you're in a position where you know everything is when your downfall is going to happen and when you're going to become stagnant and when you're going to get nowhere, because you always need to be open and aware that what you're doing now might not be relevant in the future, and what someone else is doing over there might be where you need to pivot shift, or it might be an industry that's similar to yours that you can pivot shift and follow and practice and make that what you're doing. But if you're always in that teachable mindset and that mindset that you need to approach and talk to everybody and be friendly and open with everybody and give them more than what they're going to expect from you, you're always going to be in a position to where you're ready to move forward and you're ready to take the next step, and you're always ready to crush it.
Yeah. So I'd recommend, as far as next steps go, reaching out in your community. There are groups. There's things already put aside where, CEOs get together, managers get together, and actually collaborate and bounce ideas off each other, and they go off and work on them. There's things, I know I personally almost got involved with it. I got busy with a side project and didn't do it. So I might actually do it again in 2018. But there's different levels from a CEO position, a business owner position. So, you can pay like 15 grand a year and be in $1 million club. And the whole point of the group is to take everybody that's in it and go from 1 million to 5 million in sales. And then it's a little bit more money when you break into the next club, and it's, 5 to 15 million in sales. And all the top execs in the world and CEOs in the world are all collaborating, and they're all constantly improving their position with their business, improving on it. And nobody's stale. No one's successful is ever stale and not collaborating with peers.
Yeah, it's huge. Just make sure you're collaborating with peers and people who are going to help you grow, and like-minded individuals. And it's an actual group designed for collaboration. One thing I always tell people too is avoid the one person who's trying to charge you $25,000 to lead a mastermind or something. You want to make sure that it's a full-blown group that's going to be collaborating back and forth. Maybe one person eventually becomes like the leader of the group due to how well they do, but it needs to be a really high-level focused group that's sharing their numbers back and forth, that's talking, and that's treating it like something where they all need to grow and they all need to pursue success together.
I like that.
Yeah. Hashtag success.
Hashtag
win.
For the win.
Hashtag for the win.
I feel like we're always winning.
Yeah, life is about winning. If you're not winning, where are you going? And if you're losing, you got to pivot shift and figure out what's wrong with you.
Well, you can do what I do. It doesn't matter win or lose. I always feel like I won.
That's true. Just always being the winning mindset.
That's all that matters.
What happened? I don't know, but I won.
I won. I had a good time. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Like the kid in Big Daddy. I won. Why? Because the game's called I Won. I always win.
True. That's true. Good stuff, Jen.
Yeah.
So I'd actually like to hear. So I'd like to hear some comments or see some comments, and maybe if there's any groups out there that people know of or any ideas for getting together. If anybody wants, I'd love to actually maybe we start some sort of a forum or a group where people can come and we can all collaborate and improve our businesses.
Yeah. We have our relationship marketing out of the Cave group. So we do a lot of collaboration and talking in there. That's what the group's for. And if you guys know groups, let's all get together and interact. Interaction is the key to being happy.
And winning.
Hashtag happy win.
Good stuff.
All right. It's been fun.
It's been real.
And real fun. Until next time. See ya.